Repairing the Edge of a Japanese Cooking Knife, William Hovey Smith, 2015. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, and I get involved with cooking and also knives. I'm Hovey Smith, a backyard sportsman, and this knife was made by Murray Carter. Yeah, in fact, I did some of the work on this knife myself. Now, this is a typical Japanese cooking knife, and it has a hard cutting edge and is backed with a more flexible material. Now, it had developed in my use some deep nicks. Now, Murray Carter will resharpen his knives, and you can send them back to him and he will resharpen any knife he ever made. And there are people who regularly have him do this. However, with this particular knife, I restored the edge using a 6-inch grinder as well as an Arkansas Novaculite oil stone, both non-traditional Japanese tools. In Japan, they use a grinder that is more like 6 inches wide and is also a wet stone, and it is ground in flowing water to keep the temper of the blade. When we use these on our grinding stones, we cool the blade regularly, and we did not try to grind it down all at once. And we actually sharpened it with Novaculite stones and finished it off with a wetting using ordinary cardboard. Okay, now how did we do? The way to test a blade like this is a couple of ways. You can run your fingers on the edge like this. You obviously don't press down. You want to feel for irregularities and snags. You can also tell when you pull it across a stone like this. If it catches when it pulls, obviously the blade edge is not smooth. When you have a piece of ordinary typing paper like this, you can test the edge by supporting it with the fingers and running the knife through it like this. It should make a smooth, sharp cut all the way through. If it snags halfway through, or if it starts to tear, then the knife is not properly sharpened. You should have a smooth cut like that, okay? Then you can try a second thing. On an edge like this, take it and see if you can get a smooth cut with it unsupported. Not quite as good. An excellently sharp knife will do that. This one is not quite there yet. It'll do this, and that's good enough. But if you want super sharp, yeah, then you have to take it and work it some more with stones typically. But this is how you restore a knife to useful cutability. And we'll have some following sections that will show you exactly how I did it. Today, we have a Japanese knife made by Murray Carter, actually in the United States, but he was trained as a Japanese smith in Japan. So this knife was produced by traditional methods, and as a matter of fact, I was in the shop the day this knife was made and had a chance to grind on it and do some other work. Now what has happened was the blade has some severe nicks in it, and we're going to attempt to grind these out with a conventional grinder. The problem is that this blade was actually worked on a wet W-E-T grinding stone, which was a stone probably about 200 years old. It rotated in a trough of water, was saturated with water, and water was dripping on the stone when the grinding was taking place. What all this was for was to keep the heat and buildup on the metal down to as little as possible, so you did not change the temper of the blade. Well, I don't have all of those parameters going. I do have a water bath here that I'm going to dip it in from time to time to keep it from heating, and also take the grinding at a slow stage and dip and cool often to attempt to maintain the full temper and hardness of the blade. So here we go, and we're going to get started. We're now going to use this Arkansas stone and olive oil and actually continue putting the edge on this blade. It is somewhat sharp as it is, but it's not near as sharp as it can or will be. This will also help true it up. We have a sheet of ordinary cardboard cut from a box. We're going to use this to strop the blade. You could use a leather strop such as barbers use to strop their razors with, but this will work. And the way you work it is you take it, you put it on the corner of something like this, and then you take the blade and allow it to smoothly run off like that. That does one direction, and then you do it in the opposite direction. And this is my Hovey's Health Bread, and we're going to take our newly sharpened knife and cut it up. It's getting to be warm, but it's just cool enough to cut well. But it takes a sharp knife to cut this product because it has large pieces of fruit as well as nuts in it. And dull knives will just drag through it and not cut cleanly. With a sharp knife, you can get a nice clean cut on even a tough to harvest product. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. Among my prize-winning books are Backyard Deer Hunting, Extreme Muzzleloading, Crossbow Hunting, and Practical Bow Fishing, and just out ideas for new businesses on how you can get ideas for your own million or maybe billion-dollar business. Now, using power grinders on blades of any sort should be done only when the blades are very badly damaged. For info on my stuff, go to www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye and God bless.